Of the Sports Jargon podcast. Hey, we made it to number 3. Hey, not bad, right?
We don't know if people care, but we're here.
We're getting there. All right. I am the Adam Stone, your co-host, with other co-host Josh. Just Josh Brunette 15. If you want to search him up on the gram.
You fucked it up again.
Oh no, J_Brunette 15.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
better.
Enough for introductions because no one cares. Let's get into NFL Week 6. We're gonna run through the games. Let's start with the opening night Thursday. Washington versus Chicago.
Can we
get rid of Thursday night games? Is that possible?
Al Michaels said he might retire if the games don't get better.
These are just so bad.
These
are so bad.
If Al Michaels retires because of football games, I mean,
it was 12-7. The first touchdown on a Thursday night in 3 weeks, which at least that's a little bit of improvement. The important part, I guess the only important part, Washington wins 12-7, one of the worst games I've ever watched in my life. Is Justin Fields done? Are we done with Justin Fields? I mean, you got to ride him the rest of the year, but I don't know if I've seen a quarterback miss that many easy throws, and he can't see over the line. They're driving down. He literally throws the ball off of Obata's right off the dome, intercepted. When he takes off running, his head's down. He's not looking up. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Justin Fields. I was a big Fields believer last year before. I don't know. Your thoughts on Justin Fields?
I haven't really liked him ever since he was at Ohio State. Personally, it takes, especially an Ohio State quarterback, they're a lot like Alabama quarterbacks. It takes a lot for me to like them because they just don't translate. We're
going to talk about this as long as our podcast keeps going. Ohio State quarterbacks, there's never been a good one in the NFL.
No.
Coming into this year,
one of them transferred to receiver.
Right? Oh yeah, I forgot about
Braxton Miller. He transferred to receiver because he couldn't play quarterback.
And we're going to have to get into, because farther on towards the end of the season, right now C.J. Stroud's apparently the number 1 pick in the NFL. Ohio State quarterback. We'll see if he could break the mold. Carson Wentz down. I'm injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out.
I saw 6 weeks.
6 weeks? So we're going with Heineke, or maybe Slinging Sam
Taylor
Howell.
Heineken?
Maybe,
I love Taylor Heineken.
Right? He did okay for him.
Give me him.
So that'll be interesting to watch. So that was what it is. Moving on to Sunday. Let's see. I got it written down here. Cincinnati Saints. Cincinnati wins 30-26. Jamar Chase, is he back? He got a big game. Him and Joey Burrow, Joe Burrs, whatever you want to call him, Joe Cool.
I don't know whenever Jamar was not there. I mean, yeah, sure, he had a couple quiet games, but Jamar's been Jamar. He's a top, I'll say top 5 receiver in football right now.
Oh, absolutely. He's fantastic.
He's a dog. He's a dude. Love watching that kid play.
And the Saints, they got a good team. They need a quarterback. They really, really, really need a quarterback. But that game was a lot closer.
Was it the Red Rocket again, or was it
Red Rocket again? J-Mo's, I think he's still got a broken back, I think. Cincinnati, they win in that division?
I don't know. I mean,
they're tied with the Ravens.
The Ravens, they don't have the Bengals have a more complete team than the Ravens.
Right.
But I don't know. Something about the Ravens.
We'll get into them when we get there. I like the Saints team. They need a quarterback. And that pains me as a Carolina Panther fan.
Olave and Landry, they're
Kamara, their offensive line's pretty good. Their
Thomas
defense
when he's
is
on the
pretty
field.
good. When Thomas decides he wants to play again.
Kind of like Ben Simmons a little bit.
Kind of like Ben Simmons, which we will definitely get into some basketball preview later. Moving on, we have New England, Cleveland. Now that's a game that I know we want to talk about.
That was a wild game.
The New England Patriots put it on the Browns. It took them a little while, but then they put it on them. Nick Chubb couldn't run the ball. Jacoby Brissett turned into Jacoby Brissett, which we kind of predicted was coming.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi. The Zap attack. Is he for real?
Was he pick 199 by chance? I'm just kind of curious.
I'm going to look up. I think he was in the 4th round, so he wasn't that late, he looked pretty good.
He threw for 309 and 2 tuds.
Kid
had a game, and that Cleveland defense is not bad.
Cleveland defense is not bad at all. So he was 24 out of 34.
Myles Garrett still wasn't playing, was he? After the car accident,
Myles Garrett did play.
He did play.
Okay. And for what it's worth, Pro Football Focus said he dominated that game, listed him as a top 2 edge defender of the week.
Well, I mean, you could do that every week with that guy. That guy's.
But I mean, that shows you that Cleveland had their defense out there, and Bailey's balling. I don't know what his nickname is. I'm sure we'll come up with something. So he's 23 years old, 4th round pick, number 137.
Okay.
Let's see what his numbers are for the year. So for the year, he's 51 out of 70, 73% completion rate, 596 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. pretty good.
Well,
what do we do with Mac and Cheese Jones?
I mean, he's still got to be the guy just because.
I think. What does Zappy got to do to be the guy there?
This is a way different situation than Dak and Cooper, which
we'll get to that.
We'll get to all that and everything, but maybe this is the case where you ride the hot hand because Mac and Cheese is not a verified, established quarterback quite yet in football, so maybe he gets.
And that moves the Patriots to 3-3, and they next game at home against the Bears. The big one's going to be October 30th. They play the Jets. It's a division game. The Jets are playing well.
Who would have thought we'd be saying that?
We'll get to that, but I think New England's defense is really good. The offensive line's really good. I don't know if they had the weapons, but they never really have had the weapons. We'll see what comes out of that.
Ramondre, whatever his name is. Stevenson looked unreal.
Didn't matter. Harris wasn't in. Didn't matter.
Yeah, he looked incredible.
We'll go on to another one of the division games, and we'll cover a lot more about this team later. Minnesota, Miami. What a weird game that was, right? I mean, we're gonna quickly. Minnesota wins 24-16. They moved to, I believe, 5-1. The Vikings, right? 5-1.
Yes, you are correct.
Are we buying the Vikings? Are we buying the Vikings? Dalvin Cook, for the first time in a long time, I think he took like 75% of the snaps, pretty close around there.
Oh, wow.
Madison didn't show up. I don't want to say he didn't show up, but they didn't really ride him at all. Kirk Cousins, an okay game. 175, 2 touchdowns, 20 out of 30. He did okay.
They don't need him to be that guy when Dalvin Cook's running the ball like that.
And we had Justin Jefferson, 107. Dalvin Cook, 13 carries, 77 yards.
That's
all they need, right?
Yeah.
So where are we going with it? Because right now the Vikings are sitting number 2 in the NFC. Are we buying the Vikings? Where are you on the Vikings as a Packers fan?
I hate to say it, but I think you got to buy them a little bit. You got to be buying them now.
I feel like
they're kind of proving themselves at this point.
Out of the NFC, so you have the Vikings. This is wild. I look this up there. You have the Vikings, the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. The only teams above 500 in the NFC.
Wow.
Only teams
That's
above.
A lot.
That's a lot, right? I don't love Kirk Cousins. I
just
don't know if I could buy the Kirk Cousins train.
No.
He's
the guy that has always been lights get bright and he shrivels. He burns to a crisp underneath the light.
Yeah.
That's the part that scares me. But as of right now, I'm gonna say you're gonna be kind of dumb for not buying in a little bit.
Right. I think at this point, I don't know. Normally they have the percentage, but right now they have a high chance of making the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Still got 11 games to go. The wheels could fall off. They're 3-0 at home. That's always important.
Yep.
I think they are 3-0 in the division right now. Also, that's always important. 3-0 in the division.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will monitor the Vikings. I am passively buying them because I don't buy them winning in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and we'll get to this team because we'll get to this team coming up actually next. Sometimes all you have to do is not screw it up. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. No.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. And then later we will discuss. I mean, Waddle had a bum fumble that was really tough. He fumbled it late. Skylar Thompson starts the game, hurts his thumb. Teddy Two Gloves. Teddy throws a Veld himself. Comes in.
If Teddy's healthy, why is he not starting?
We'll talk about that later, right? That's very important. I think everybody's asking that. I think there's a lot of questions, and
I don't know. Miami seems to be making a lot of bonehead moves with all that stuff right now.
I wonder. We'll figure out what's going on with Miami. So all right, let's move on to the Giants and the Ravens. Now I watched the whole game, every snap. Giants Ravens. The Ravens were winning the entire game. The Giants were keeping it close. They couldn't really pass the ball. Wendell Robinson looks like a really good player. I think he was a second-round pick for the Giants.
Yep.
Baltimore had the game, and Lamar Jackson just can't figure it out. I know he's your guy, and I went after you last week about Lamar Jackson. The Giants, 0 interceptions all year. No interceptions. Ravens are up. I don't know what it was, 4 minutes. Maybe it was a little bit less than 4 minutes.
I mean, I wouldn't really know. My bosses are kind of slave drivers.
Well, you know how that goes.
I have to work on Sundays. It's kind of fucking unreal for me.
3rd and 6, the ball gets snapped over Lamar Jackson's head. He grabs it.
I did see that play. Yeah, I don't.
Where are we going? I think this ranks up there with his interception at the 1 at Buffalo Bills. He's another guy when the lights are shining on him. I don't love Lamar Jackson.
I feel like that's a tough circumstance because you would assume that Linderbaum, the guy that they supposed to be the best center in college football last year, you're not expecting that out of your
no. But at what point do we? So this is Lamar Jackson's 4th year in the league. When do you just eat that? At what point does he have to realize you have to eat that, take a sack, run, get what you can, get down? You can't just eat it. You can't just be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna wildly chuck this ball up in the air. Like I don't love it with the Ravens. I think that was a very tough loss, especially that Cincinnati's playing better. Yeah. That this is a very winnable division with Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And oh man, I just don't like the Ravens. I don't know. Like I like them going into the season, but watching them play, it's a lot for me. And then I'll let you finish with your thoughts on the Ravens. But are we buying the Giants?
I think you have to be buying it. Again, it's another team you got to be buying at this point.
So the Giants, everybody put it up there. Everybody saw it. They are number 2 rush team.
Yep.
They are
Saquon is back.
They are 30/31 passing. Are we worried about this?
I don't.
No, we're not worried.
I'm not worried about it yet. I mean, if you keep winning, you keep winning. Your defense is playing ball, and you're controlling the clock. You're controlling the game by running.
And Daniel Jones is not turning the ball over.
No.
I'm going to look it up to make sure that I'm not crazy. But Daniel Jones, if he could turn into a game manager, their defense is good enough. I think they need to create more turnovers, and they need a little bit more pressure on the quarterbacks, obviously. But right now, he's 67% completion percentage. He does have 2 interceptions, no fumbles, which is big. Yeah. Big. So 2 interceptions in 6 games, we can live with that.
Yeah, that's not.
We can live with that. Feed Saquon. Where's Zeke? We're taking the bull. We're taking the bull from Zeke, and we're giving it to Saquon.
That bull should have been taken from Zeke 3 years ago.
Yeah, obviously. But I think I'm buying the Giants.
Yeah.
I think I'm buying the Giants. There's nothing about the Giants team Daniel Jones I don't love. I would like to see them get a little bit more pressure.
Daniel Jones, good runner. Really? Guy gets out of the pocket, makes some moves.
He's number 2 on the team. He's number 2 on the team in rushing. 47 carries, 236 yards with about a 5-yard average.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Not only that, he seems to make the throw when it needs to be done.
And this is also something I had it written down in my notes, and I just want to quickly go over it. Saquon Barkley, 119 carries, 23 of them for first downs. Wow. Daniel Jones, 47 carries, 22 for first downs.
Wow.
So he's getting it done. He's moving the chains. He's doing what he's got to do. I am passively buying the Giants. I think I like them better than the Vikings. As the number 2 in the NFC, I think I like them better than the Vikings. It's probably apples to apples at this point. They're both, I think they're very similar.
Give me Daniel Jones instead of Kirk Cousins.
Wow. Can you imagine saying that beginning of the year?
No.
Can you imagine saying that beginning? No. All right. Yeah, so any more quick thoughts on the Ravens? Do you like them for the division?
I still like them for the division, only on the simple fact that they're going to get the running game going.
Yeah.
Dobbins is still making his way back. Kenyon Drake,
because Dobbins they held out in the second half. He didn't play in the second half.
Kenyon Drake, who's always been
consistent,
above par rusher. And then obviously you got the best rushing quarterback in the game.
Yeah,
they're gonna start getting that running game together, and that's gonna open up Mark Andrews.
Who's our producer? Is it Mike or Mark Andrews? Your number 1 pick. He's not paying attention. That's okay. Oh, Mike. Oh, okay. I always thought it was Mark for some reason.
I'm taking notes over here, jackass.
All right, so let's move on.
So I like them to figure it out.
You like them? I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I know you like the Ravens. All right, let's move on. Let's see. I'll get right here. So we have the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was a wild game.
I saw score updates. I didn't see the game.
I got to see the end of it because they switched it over afterwards, so I got to see the end of it. Deion Jackson doing work. Taylor out for the Colts.
And Hines.
Hines doing work.
No, Hines was out too.
Oh, Hines was out? Wait. Oh, who did I say? Oh, Deion Jackson. I got confused. Deion Jackson doing work. Michael Pittman Jr. doing work.
Love Pittman.
Matt Ryan, 392 yards.
Yeah, did he fucking figure? Well, believe it or not, Matt Ryan's been top 5 most of the year in pass yards.
I'm not surprised by that. It's just.
But this time he actually looked like a Matt Ryan quarterback.
Matty
Ice looked like he was Matty Ice.
And their offensive line seems like it's okay. Michael Pittman. I know we gave Michael Pittman. Their line is very weird because we'll get into we can get into the line later, but. I like the Colts to win the division before the season started.
Well, of course.
They are right now they're number 2 behind Titans because of the tie. I don't like the Titans, even though somehow the Titans are 3-2.
No,
but
no.
That's such a bad division.
Yeah,
that's such a bad division. But I really wanted to get into. Colts are a weird team.
They are very weird.
I just don't know. Matty Ice coming back. Pittman Jr. obviously huge. Pierce looks like he's a legit number 2. He scored the game-winning touchdown. Yeah. They look really good moving the ball.
Pierce makes some big plays down the stretch.
No, I want to go back and I want to see. So out of their division, the Jaguars have the highest point differential.
Makes sense.
They've lost 3 in a row, which is wild. 2-1. Trevor Lawrence, 20 out of 22, 3 touchdowns, 2 running, 1 passing. Still lose.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you pay a below-average receiver $48 million a year.
I think I like their team. I just think that they're young and they have to figure out how to win. And I know it's the new coach. I think
they dumped so much money into Christian Kirk for no reason.
Christian Kirk, I think he broke the receiver NFL mold. How he got $18 million being a third fiddle in Arizona. And the first 2 weeks he looked real good and then he fell off. He scored a touchdown this week, but Jacksonville needs a receiver. They need a receiver in the worst way.
I still like ETN back there.
I like ETN. He had 10 for 83. James Robinson 12 for 56. So that's
a good tandem there.
They both played well. Indian, I think I like the Colts to win the division.
Yeah,
they're a weird team. They are a weird team.
Yeah, no, for sure. But give me the Colts all day long.
Big upset next. Atlanta over the 49ers. I thought it was a big upset. The Atlanta went in there and just ran the ball.
Yeah, that was wild.
Algier and Huntley both had 15 to 16 carries. I think Mariota was 12 out of 13. Then he's like, I'm just not going to throw the ball. 49ers, who were the number 1 defense in the league. Jimmy Garoppolo, who I said was awesome, and then look what he did to me. I didn't say he was awesome, but I think they were a better team with Jimmy G.
Hey, good thing we picked him up this week for our fantasy.
Right? We picked up him and Ayuk. Right. Yeah.
We had Ayuk on the bench.
We have Ayuk rotting on the bench.
I give fantasy football this year.
We're not going to get into our fantasy football team. It's not going well, but Atlanta winning. I think Atlanta's tied for first in this division, which is one of the worst divisions. It's also, I don't know if it's the worst division, but it's got to be pretty close. Carolina is atrocious. We'll get into them later. The Saints, I like their pieces. They need a quarterback. Atlanta, I'm starting to like their team. It pains me to say that. I think next year, I know we talked about quickly last week, but if Ridley comes back, I don't know what the plan is for Ridley, but all of a sudden you could have Ridley, you could have Pitts, Drake London, Gier. All of a sudden Matt Riddle, bro.
RK bro.
But all of a sudden they have something.
Yeah, no, I think Riddle could be a decent quarterback in the league too. I mean, obviously we haven't seen anything of him yet, but I would love to see him get into the league and figure it out. But you know what's kind of funny? You got Huntley and Algier, 15 and 16 carries for the 2 of them. Mm-hmm. It'd be really nice if a team of mine would have that same mindset. Maybe.
We're cool. Almost there. We're almost there. It
would be really, really awesome.
But I'm going to follow the upset line here. If we're quickly, Atlanta winning the division, Tampa Bay is going to come through, right? Tampa Bay is coming through. 49ers,
playoff time's going to come. Tampa Bay is going to go, hey, yep, guess what?
But also, the 49ers are number 1 in their division right now, tied with the Rams.
That division stinks.
What's up with the 49ers? Or do we like the 49ers?
I still
like them to win the division?
Yeah,
Are
absolutely.
We not? Okay. So we'll get that. So next,
Geno Smith can't win that division. There's no shot.
Right.
There's no way.
Right. Maybe Pete Carroll deserves more credit. We'll get to them in a second.
Geno, no way.
Let's go. Other big upset of the week: Pittsburgh over Tampa Bay.
There was a lot of big upsets this week. It was kind of strange.
A lot of big upsets.
And they were, I don't know. It was weird. That was a big upset. That was kind of wild.
I watched again. I had a lot of TVs on. That game I watched every single play. Tom Brady screaming at his offensive line. I don't know.
Somebody's gotta.
I think Tampa's in trouble. I think they're going to win the division, but I think they're a one and done. I don't see them winning a playoff game. Their defense is good. Don't get me wrong, but you can't lose that many offensive linemen. Wirf's the right tackle, still really good. But Brady's got no time to throw. Evans is what Evans is. I like Mike Evans, but it just seems like they just slam the ball at Fournette. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know if the magic has run out because I'm not saying it's Brady's fault because I don't think it's Brady's fault.
There's no shot.
I think the offensive line is just not where it needs to be. I think Godwin's not where it needs to be. Right now,
Godwin had a good game last week.
He had a good game. I just don't think he's at the elite level that he was prior. I still don't think
he's all the way back in health.
I don't think he's all the way back.
This was the first week that he's been completely off of the
off the injured list.
Yes.
Yep. I don't know. They should not have struggled against a T.J. Watt-less, Kenny Pickett-less.
It's still a Mike Tomlin Steelers defense. It's Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in football.
I am overreacting and I am panicked about Tampa Bay. I am overreacting.
I think you are overreacting.
I am panicked.
I can understand your slight level of panic, but I don't think there's anything to worry about.
I just don't love how they're playing right now. The defense is playing well. I still like them to win the division, but I am panicked. Now, the opposite of panic is what? Relax.
Yeah.
That's what you told me last week.
Yep.
Jets Packers happened.
Yeah, that was
I want to start, before we get into the Packers, I know you have a lot to say. I want to hear everything you need to say as a Green Bay Packer fan. I really like what the New York Jets are doing.
No, how do you not?
This reminds me, I feel like I'm having deja vu. This is all over where a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I think it's 6 years ago now maybe, the New Orleans Saints, they had their draft. They had Lattimore, they had Kamara. I'm watching yesterday, Sunday, I'm watching yesterday. All of a sudden,
Monday. What the fuck?
Right, yeah. What the hell happened? We got Sauce Gardner out here locking people down.
Love him.
DJ Reed, absolutely underrated pickup. If people aren't noticing, they should notice. All of a sudden, the Jets went from one of the worst secondaries to one of the best secondaries in the league. Packers receivers literally had no room. They were all over them.
And then Leonard Williams was just absolutely fucking up the Packers
and Johnson, the DN that they drafted late in the first round. We kind of had a little side pool bet going on here during the draft. We all thought he was going top 15.
Yep.
He falls to the first half. He has himself a game. All of a sudden, the Jets are loaded with young pieces.
Yep.
Hall, Kamara. That's why I'm drawing the comparison.
Corey Davis, Berrios. You got.
All of a sudden, Elijah Moore, who was fantastic last year, was kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson makes me nervous. Still young, hasn't started a lot of games. He managed. He guided the car, guided the train.
Yep.
They ended up winning big, and even I know we talked about it. You watched it. Tunyon almost drops that, deflects up.
Yeah, that was a strange play.
But that was close to being, looking at final score. That was close to being a 34-10 win for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Green Bay. I have a lot to say about Green Bay, but I want you to go first as a diehard Green Bay lifelong Packer fan. Are we relaxed or are we ringing the panic bell?
My panic isn't with the 38, 39, however old he is. It's not with that quarterback. The guy is making plays. The guy is getting the ball where it needs to. We cannot have 7 drops as a receiving core, running backs. We cannot have that many freaking drops and expect the offense to move at the pace it needs to move at. Matt LaFleur seems absolutely befuddled at what to be calling for offensive plays, which is... I loved him last year. I've loved him the past 3 years, however long. I think he's been 3 years now. I've loved him, but this year it's like, do you just not know do we not know what we're doing anymore? He's starting to worry me. That defense is legit. The defense is going to be legit. Jair had the perfect plan for the secondary. Wilson had 90 yards passing. We cannot give up 190 yards on the ground.
No,
we were supposed to be better at run defense. We are worse than we were last year.
So including the kneel downs from Zach Wilson's, it was 33 carries for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Packers rush defense.
What are you doing
against a team? So they ran the ball 33 times. They threw the ball 18 times. So there was no secret what the game plan was. It was, we're going to hammer. We got Carter. We got Hall.
Yeah.
We're hammering that defense. We're going to chisel away at it. We'll turn that down. Chat. Did I get hacked or something?
No, we probably got copyright strikes.
Oh, no, we're fine. You don't even know what that was from.
Fox News is on my ass.
Oh, here we go. Where's Kanye? He'll tell you it's a simulation. It's not real.
No, we're not doing. No, too early.
Too early. But So I know we talked briefly about the Packers' offensive line last week. I told you it wasn't good. You yelled at me. Where's the Packers' offensive line? Is it panic mode for the offensive line?
Do you want to know how you fix an offensive line?
How do you fix an offensive line?
You run the damn ball.
So they had, one, are we panicked about Aaron Jones? 9 carries for 19 yards.
No.
A.J. Dillon, 10 carries, 41. Clearly, A.J. Dillon played a lot better yesterday than Aaron Jones did.
But neither one of them could get going if you give them 10 fucking carries. I said this against the Giants.
Yeah.
We cannot have those guys having 20 fucking carries between the two of them.
I mean, Robert Tonyan.
What are you doing?
Robert Tonyan, leading receiver, 10 catches, 90 yards, 12 targets.
I don't think I told you on the podcast. I think Tunyan's got the best hands on the Packers.
Well, there was something a couple years ago crazy. 70 receptions, 75 targets. Absolutely unheard of.
Tunyan's got the best hands on the Packers.
If the ball was near him, he was catching it. Lazard.
I love the lizard still. I still love the lizard. But what do we have out of that? I mean, obviously, I love Dobbs. I think Dobbs is going to be a dude. But
Dobbs. So
Cobb might be. I don't know what happened to Cobb. I'm actually going to look that up while we're discussing this.
Cobb. So
he gets carted back to the locker room.
He got carted back. I think he's out for a while. I think he's out for a while. So very quickly, do we have a timestamp here? Executive producer Mike Andrews. 26 minutes. All right. Very quickly, I just want to run through this real quick before we have 4 more games to cover. But Pro Football Focus put out a massive article today. Shared everywhere it was. Aaron Rodgers, and we talked briefly before we started this podcast, 2 high safeties this year. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5.4 yards attempt. Pretty abysmal numbers for Aaron Rodgers. Yep. Single high safety, looking much better, 8.6 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused. Single high was 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 6.7 yards. Back-to-back MVP years. 1 high safety, 56 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, that's a lot.
How badly does Green Bay need a number 1 receiver to get open? They can't if they got 2 high safeties, he's going underneath and his guys aren't getting open. They can't get open in the short game. Dubes he was blanketed.
He had a couple drops too.
He had a couple drops. He was basically wearing sauce as a jacket. He was just following him wherever he went. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Same thing. Lazard had the big catch, but he had 4 catches on 9 targets. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Love Tunyan, but he's not the middle of the field presence that people are scared of, which is what you need to do to break a 2 or 4 high safety.
And that is what that is pretty much the article puts all it out is. Rodgers, if you have 2 guys deep, he's dumping it off low, and you're not getting a whole lot of yards after catch. You're not getting a whole lot of anything. No one open. I think the Packers should be very, very, very worried. I think they could still get into the playoffs. I like them as a playoff team. Now they gotta
figure out how to fucking run them. You gotta run the ball.
They gotta. I don't know. LaFleur, for the first time I think ever, I saw him screaming at the sideline, screaming at his offense to get it going.
Yep.
They gotta run the ball. A lot of that is on him. Their offensive line has pieces to run the ball. They have to do it. They can't get into. We know we talked about that, but it was 2nd and long.
Yeah.
3rd and long. You can't get into it. Teams are just gonna sit back. They've kind of figured out where they're gonna go with the ball. I'm panicked. I know you're.
I'm getting there.
We're getting there. So we're still in the
there.
We're relaxed, but the seat's getting a little warm for the panic.
And Rodgers did come out and say, he said, "Well, I got to play better. I got to play better. I got to be doing. I got to step up if we're gonna get to where we're gonna get to with this team." And that kind of makes me feel good because Rodgers has said things as such in the past and has gone on absolute tears afterwards.
So we'll see how we go. We still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
We'll see how this.
Cobb may have avoided serious injury.
That's good.
Probably still an IR stint though.
It's IR, so he's out at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Seattle, Arizona, 19-9. Geno Smith guiding the train. Arizona. We'll get into them in 2 seconds. Arizona, I have no faith in. There's nothing I like about that team. No. I think they're just an average team.
Kyler stinks.
Kyler Murray, how do you give that guy that much money? I don't blow.
It wasn't even double XP weekend. Do we know?
Wasn't even double, but the game come out last week. Maybe he's still playing Call of Duty. Do we know anything? Call of Duty, is it still booming after week 2, or is that why Kyler sucks now, or what?
Until like November 11th.
Oh, so he's just embarrassing himself without Call of Duty.
Right,
That's fine.
well,
quickly, we'll get into Philadelphia Eagles against Dallas. I love the Eagles. I love everything about the Eagles.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, I think he can do enough to get them to win.
He's a dude.
They are definitely the NFC favorite, the best offensive line in football. I like their defense. Dallas, I love their defense. I'm still riding Cooper Rush, but it looks like Dak's playing.
You're still going to ride him after that abysmal performance.
He had a horrible first half. I don't think we can take that away.
So he had a good second half?
I think he had a one quarterback rating for the first half.
Yeah.
I think it was one out of 100.
Yes.
It was about as bad as you could get. One bad game.
Goodbye.
Dak's playing next week.
Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye.
You're starting Dak.
Yeah. This is not the Mac and Cheese Jones and Zappy conversation.
No.
This is Dak freaking Prescott. And get him back in the helmet.
So they're playing now. They're playing Detroit. Detroit's coming off a bye. At home, you're going with Dak against the worst rated defense.
Yes, absolutely.
Might not be a terrible idea. I don't know. I'm not sold on Cooper Rush. And I'm not sold on Dak hurting his hand and then coming back. We'll see what happens. It's been a long time.
Or at least 4. I don't know.
It's been a long time. But yeah, I've been a Cooper Rush guy all season. That was a hard game to watch.
Goodbye.
That was a very hard game. He ended up 18 of 38, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Pack him up.
You're packing him up. Yep. You're throwing him to the curb.
Had a good couple games. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later. You're done with them. You're kicking him to the curb. We'll see. We'll see what they go with. I think Dak's playing.
Do we have a score update on this?
The score update right now is 13 to 16. Denver's winning.
Holy shit.
Yeah, well, I think it's still in the third quarter.
Okay.
Quickly, Rams, Carolina. The only thing really worth talking about, well, two trades basically are coming out of this. Robbie Anderson has a meltdown on the sideline, goes and sits down, says that
Didn't he get sent to the locker room?
Before he got sent to the locker room, he went and he sat down all the way at the end of the bench so no one could talk to him. Claims that there wasn't assigned seats. He's a weird dude. We'll change it. He's not a weird dude. He's a weird bird now. Yeah. He is now a Arizona Cardinal for a 6th and 7th round pick. So start off one.
I think you guys did good.
How bad was the original deal that Carolina gave him, the extension? So Carolina now gets $10 million dead cap space this year, $10 million dead cap space next year. Basically get peanuts, 6th and 7th. I don't know what value he had. That might have been the best offer. You had to get him out of there.
And Cliff needs to do something over there.
Cliff needs to do something over there because Arizona's a bad team. Hollywood Brown looks like he's going to be out for a little bit. Looks like he's avoided surgery, avoided IR.
As of right now.
We'll see, but I just don't understand. So Robbie Anderson has a meltdown because they take him off the field on 3rd down.
How does somebody then go, yeah, give me that guy. I want him.
What is going to happen when Brown's back? What is going to happen with Rondale Moore and DJ Hopkins? What are they going to do DeAndre Hopkins? What are they going to do with Robbie Anderson as the number 4 with him pouting on the side?
He should be number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Mike Andrews, 1 and 2 pick in the fantasy draft. And not to mention you got Zach Ertz, Connor, we'll see when he comes back, Benjamin. There's a lot of mouths to feed.
Robbie might start at quarterback.
Double XP weekend. Maybe we'll have our little Call of Duty team. Cam Akers, also news out of there. Cam Akers, apparently he wants out or they don't want anything to do with him. That was kind of weird. That was out of left field towards Achilles, right? I believe his injury was last year. Kind of came back. Looked like he was okay.
Kind of gave him a push to the Super Bowl.
Right, kind of was okay. Then they go into this year, and now they're done with them.
Well, Darrell Henderson has outperformed him immensely.
Absolutely. But I just think it's weird to give up on him. I think it's only his year 3 in the league or year 4 going into there. Young, not that long, they're done with him.
Yeah,
they're done with him.
Goodbye.
Kind
if
of
you
wild.
don't want to play, goodbye.
I think the AFC Championship preview happened Sunday night. Very good game. Bills won. I think they're going to rematch. Yeah. Bills win 24-20. I don't really know what else. I love the Bills. I love the Chiefs.
Mahomes had some very bonehead plays.
And I don't think he does that again. I don't think that's he does that
pick
again.
To seal the game. What are you looking at?
If that's one of those decisions where
he just followed him with his eyes. He didn't make it difficult.
And that's maybe he's missing Tyreek a little bit. Tyreek's looking good in Miami. Maybe he's missing him.
I know MVS, who was supposed to be his replacement. Talk about drops and Packers receivers. That guy was number 1. He was a world famous receiver for
Juju had an okay game. Another one on the bench on the Mike Andrews team. I like Juju. I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs team.
Gonna stop throwing shit in a second now. I swear to God.
But I like the Chiefs. I think they're going to win the division. I think they're the AFC co-favorite with the Buffalo Bills. Yep. I think they will meet again. I am all in for round 3. We'll call round 1 the AFC game last year in the playoffs.
Give me it.
Time. What do we got? Time chat. So
You're at Yep, 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Okay, let's see. We hit Robbie Anderson. Just quickly, we hit the Akers trade.
Yep.
Quickly. Are we worried about Deshaun Watson? Another mystery girl comes out today. Apparently, the judge or somebody in the case says that she has to release her name. It can't be mysterious. Can't be anonymous.
Yeah, it should be because I mean.
Is this going to be a thing that follows him forever? Are we worried?
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. But I don't understand how this is still happening. Judge has already ruled. I mean, obviously that doesn't mean that he was 100% innocent, but like there was not much evidence for him on any of this stuff to begin with.
And he did settle with 23 cases so far. He did settle some sort of cash payout. They have one person that's still holding out. Not sure what they're holding out for. According to the lawyer.
But I don't understand. Like, there was nothing that they really found in the first two cases. Like, their biggest thing. Oh, well, there was this many people across the entire U.S. Hey, he plays football. He travels. Like that's your best evidence against this.
This is a
what
weird.
Are you doing?
I didn't think it was possible that another person would come out because obviously it's a thing of the past. We're going to see where this has got one because this was brand new today, came up. Not the whole situation is not brand new, but now the mystery person. The judge is demanding that they give up the name, which
they have to,
which leads for me to believe that maybe they don't think this is to rehash. It's somebody else.
Yeah, not only that, this also shows that the judge is like, all right, well, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think it's gone through 2 grand juries already. That I'm reading
because
here.
It was 2 separate jurisdictions or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And then, of course, because this will all go away December 4th when he's back. When he travels to play the Houston Texans, the NFL, they don't know what they're doing at all.
Love this.
Love that.
Sometimes I hate schedule makers. Right there,
we gotta love it right there. And then the last football topic, real quick: Miami Dolphins. What are we doing? What are we doing? Tua's playing this week. They have announced Tua's playing this week. Teddy throws out Teddy 2 gloves, gets his brain scrambled. Hey, he can't play.
I got something better for you here.
I'm ready.
So I've looked up on Fantasy his brief timeline from Friday to Sunday. Friday, he's questionable with concussion. Doesn't know if he's going to play.
Yep.
Saturday, he's cleared and allegedly passed every test and never had concussion symptoms.
So why didn't he start the game?
So why was he ever questionable with concussion?
Why didn't he not start the game? What is the Miami Dolphins doing? Is this like
Are they trying to get themselves in trouble?
Is this some sort of clown show? Is this a clown fiesta? The clown party will upgrade it. How do you have
Ronald McDaniel's down there.
Ronald McDaniel. So you have the Tua situation, who is playing next week. He's practicing. He's scheduled to play this week.
They're preparing for him to play. That's what I saw. Preparing for
him to play.
But still, what are you doing?
Then you have Teddy Bridgewater,
who never had concussion symptoms and didn't start.
Mysteriously says, he may have a concussion, can't play. He's a backup. We're going to throw him in the game, and he has a hell of a game.
And he never had concussion. What
are we doing? What is going on? Who are these doctors?
I don't know.
Do they got Mike Andrews out there in the lab coat? Like, where are we going?
Maybe it's not a real guy, and they just bring him into a room, and then they go, hey, stand in there for a few minutes and just come back.
This is bizarre. This is very bizarre. I don't know.
He's getting upset with the Mike Andrews.
Well, he's getting upset.
He might have shut down the stream.
I think there's something wild going on in Miami, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're trying to.
I'm interested to see what finds out, though.
I think the independent investigation on Tua is still going on. What is going on with Bridgewater? I guess we're going to find out hopefully sooner rather than later.
Roger's going to get the what the fuck's this thing to?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the little microscope, the little magnifying glass.
There you go. Jesus Christ, that was bad. He's gonna get He's gonna be checking all the evidence.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. So that is the NFL week. Like I said, right now we're still looking at we got the Chargers, we got the Broncos 16-16. We'll see. Russ Wilson looks like he's playing a little bit better.
He's actually making food this time.
He's actually cooking a little bit. He's at least got the burner on. Before, I think he forgot the. He just had the raw food in the pan and he couldn't figure it out. All right, let's move to baseball now.
Okay.
What do we got for time, chat executive producer?
You're at 39.5.
All right, perfect. So we'll speed through baseball. We had a very upset person close to you.
Yeah.
Philly's big upset. Big upset.
Loved it. Hey, Braves.
The Braves are going fishing.
Bye.
baseball is such a different animal when it comes to the postseason.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're going from 162 games to now you're in a 5-game series to Nola, Wheeler as your 1-2.
One of the best in baseball.
Bryce Harper,
JT Realmuto,
hot right
Rhys
now.
Hoskins.
They burned through the Atlanta Braves. They were 14 games back. The Phillies are 14 games back. Not the biggest upset of the weekend.
No, but
not even.
The Phillies, mind you, after they got Rob Thompson as their manager,
yep.
I believe they were I think they were third to only the Dodgers and the Braves for the best record in baseball over that time.
I think that's important.
Yes.
I think that's
which I think my brother failed to realize or neglected to want to realize.
Well, he had some ulterior motives.
Yeah, his heart was in a different place, if you want to say.
Yeah, but we're talking about a team on an absolute tear right now. All of a sudden, you're in a 7-game series. They're going to do a 7-game series with the Padres. You could quite possibly be looking at 4 starts probably 4 starts if it goes all 7 games from Nola, Wheeler. That's going to be hard to beat.
Good luck.
Now,
good luck.
The other big upset, maybe even a bigger upset, maybe
because the Padres got absolutely dog walked by the Dodgers all year, and the Dodgers were the best team in baseball coming into this. But I do want to say,
yes,
there have been talks throughout this year that, okay, the Dodgers might be the best team built for the long haul. Let's see what happens in the playoffs. There have been a lot of analysts that were saying that throughout the year. I do want to make that known. Like, there were concerns about them, and I might have brought that to light, and my brother hated to say that I might have been right in the discussion.
And you brought up that you didn't love their bullpen. 2 come from behind victories for the Padres. The Dodgers, fantastic team, but also I think too when you look at the Padres team, their 5th starter really struggled. Mania really struggled towards the end of the year. Started off hot, really struggled, but all of a sudden he's not playing.
No.
All of a sudden you're shortening the rotation, you're shortening the bullpen.
Joe started pitching at the right time.
Sticky ear Joe.
Not as good of a game against the Mets.
But he still gave up only 2 runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave up 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks against.
Still a good game, especially against that Dodgers lineup.
Against the Dodgers lineup. And then now with, you got Hill, you got Martinez, you got Suarez. You got Hader.
This is, again, my brother got mad at this too. This is exactly what the Padres got Hader for.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way that Hader was going to be that bad. There's no way.
Well, and it's all of a sudden, now you have a 6-inning game. You don't no longer have a 9-inning game. That bullpen comes in and it's lights out.
Mm-hmm.
That is a difference maker.
Suarez might look better than Hader.
It also helps that Machado is playing
our MVP.
Our MVP, Manny Machado, played absolutely phenomenal. Ray Cronenworth batted .438 for his slugging 625.
Yep.
Grisham 308. Couple big home runs. I think is he the playoff leader in home runs? I think he is. I'll double check that. Too. Austin Nola, brothers playing against each other, but he batted .333. That all of a sudden the bottom of the line were getting on base. They were getting drove in. Soto still struggling.
Yeah, he's looked rough.
Drury's struggling.
Yep.
Myers is struggling. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do to turn around against the Phillies. Who do we got for the NLCS? The bottom 2 seeds advancing to the NLCS. I think I'm at the same place that I was last week.
I can't go against the Phillies.
I am rooting for the Padres. I want them to win. There's just something about the team. I think they're the most exciting team in baseball. I love watching them play.
They're a lot of fun, especially all the shit that they went through with
Tatis.
Tatis
and the cream, and he just had another wrist surgery. The second surgery on his wrist. He'll be back next year, but
that Phillies team looks unreal right now.
And they
don't have the bullpen that the
Padres
do though.
The Padres are going to have to beat Wheeler Nola 4 times.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's going to come down to. If Soto gets hot, if Soto can get hot and you can keep these other guys rolling, I think they got a good shot, but man, it always comes down to pitching, right?
Yeah.
That's what it always comes down to.
That
pitching
Padres
in
bullpen
baseball
is good right now.
And I don't really know the AL. We're still waiting for the game. Got postponed tonight.
Yep. Interesting to see what happens there. Because now does Beebe start?
What do? Do you start Biebs? I mean, you also the other thing is
when did Biebs pitch?
You have the Astros waiting. The Astros absolutely
licking their chops for whoever comes
up. The Mariners, they're not scared of anybody. No. They're ready to roll. I mean, the Astros, I think it's the situation where until the Astros lose, I really wanted the Mariners to win. I loved how the Mariners are playing.
You know, that bullpen absolutely shit the bed,
and they let you down because you raved about their bullpen.
Their bullpen was still, it made me so sad.
But you know what? Again, we said it a million times, the playoffs are just different.
Yeah.
You have a very small sample size. The Mariners over 162 games, they could have a bullpen. You're in a 5-game series. In this case, only a 3-game series. Houston ready and waiting. Who do you like Game 5, Yankees or Guardians? You sticking with Cleveland?
Let's see who we're... All right, we got Cortez on the mound on short rest, if I do...
Cortez is pitching on short rest for the Yankees?
Yeah, let's see here. I think he's going to... Yeah, Cortez is going to pitch on 3 days rest, or 4 days rest, technically.
Yep, because he got moved, yep.
Throw Biebs. Cortez and Biebs went at it last time. Throw Biebs.
Let's do the rematch.
I want to see that rematch.
I want to see it. I'm all in. This has been a fantastic series. Every single game has been decided by 2 runs or less.
Oscar Gonzalez, is he the story of the postseason right now?
As of right now, I mean...
Two walk-off shots.
Two walk-offs.
Or not shots, I'm sorry. A walk-off solo homer in that 15-inning marathon against the Rays in the wild card series.
And I know the Yankees have been really hard on Garrett Cole, but he's got 2 wins this series, right? He's got both their wins. He is what he is.
Yeah.
He is what he is. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow night for that. We're still picking Houston over the Guardians, Yankees. Are you hoping for the underdog? You're hoping for I know you're Cleveland, right?
I want the Guardians bad. I don't know if I can.
I know somebody who would be very upset if we get a Padres Yankees World Series, but I would be excited about that. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. I would love to see the Guardians go. I think the Astros walk through whoever.
I think the Astros are absolutely playing great baseball right now.
And the thing that I wanted to touch upon, the reason why I was questionable about the Dodgers this series. Who's their big arm that you're scared of?
We did talk about that. Because they finished when we looked it up, the number 3 bullpen in baseball. You said you didn't love their bullpen. You said they didn't have a big arm coming out, and boy, did that cost them because they were.
Evan Phillips was their best bullpen arm, but you go who?
Right.
It was him and David Price, an ex-starting pitcher. Those were their 2 best bullpen arms all year.
And they lost it. They lost it for the Dodgers.
They didn't have a Hader. They didn't have a Suarez. They didn't have a Mart. They just didn't. It was a solid group of guys, but they did not have that guy that you go, oh my God. They didn't have the trumpets coming out of the bullpen.
Right, and we have the Philadelphia's. You're going back quick. Philadelphia's ERA in the playoffs so far 2.55 ERA. Yeah. Big.
Yeah.
Real big.
Yeah.
So that means if they score 3 runs, you're probably done.
And they score 6 in an inning on you.
Right, and that'll be a lot of fun to watch. What do we got for time?
47.5.
47.5. Quickly. Let's quickly go to basketball.
Okay.
We have a lot of websites coming out. Season starts tomorrow. The general consensus, Golden State Warriors are repeating. We talked about yesterday about...
People are saying that after Poole came out and talked about it.
Poole comes out and talks about it, signs a... Now, we talked about last week where Draymond Green, one shot, was playing Mike Tyson punch out. Money shot Green. I mean, hey, you know what? This might be a little weird. Speaking of money shots, look at the contract Poole signed after that.
Holy shit.
For over 100
I got 4 years, 123 with $17 million in incentives.
You know what? I'm letting Draymond Green punch me for that much money. That's no problem.
I'll walk into Golden State right now.
I think also though that's very because we were talking about what they were going to do with it. They ended up they let Draymond Green come back. They're like, we'll figure it out. No big deal. Everybody's moved past it.
What?
Andrew Wiggins signs a big contract. Jordan Poole signs
Wiggins is much needed.
But we got all of a sudden now we've got Wiggins
is much needed on that team. Yes, sorry.
We got Wiggins, Clay, Steph, Poole.
People are heavy favorite for the 6th man of the year.
Where is Draymond Green's contract? They just handed out 2 big ones.
I think it got lost in the mail.
Is it stuck somewhere?
Yeah, I think it got lost in the mail.
Is this the last year for? I know we talked about it. I expected them to put a suspension on him. They didn't.
At all. What?
At all. Letting them come back. They were like, hey, the media's blown this out of proportion.
No.
We saw the video. Claire knocked him out. I don't know. I think he's got CTE. I don't know. We'll get into that later. So, Warriors heavy favorite. Across all websites, heavy favorite. Some team that popped up. We talked about the Celtics, and we didn't talk about their coach getting suspended.
Yeah, that was kind of a big deal.
That was kind of a big deal.
Touching people in the office can't really do that.
What was a sideline reporter or sideline work? Somebody she worked for the team,
like
right?
Yeah, she was with the team in some aspect.
So that's got to hurt the Celtics' chances, right? I mean, that's got to be.
Hey, think about this though. He actually got confirmed that this happened, and he gets banned or suspended for a year. Fix that, please. Fix that. Deshaun Watson doesn't get confirmed of anything.
And he's gone.
Almost an entire season.
I mean,
NBA, fix it. And then you could talk about Monty Williams. I think it's Monty Williams, Suns owner.
Oh,
that was a lot. There was a lot of touching going on in the office.
I think he's going to end up getting forced to sell the team, right?
I sure hope so.
I think that's where
there's a lot of upset people about that, but I love Adam Silver, but hey, we need to fix this. We cannot be having this. You're supposed to be the model commissioner.
He's been trying really hard to turn around the perception of the league and trying really hard to get. He needs to fix that. He needs to fix that. That'll be interesting. A surprise for me, and you weren't surprised. You love this. Power rankings. Number 2 on CBS. I think NBA or ESPN had them 3. NBA had them top 5. The Clippers are the number 2 best team projected to win the.
I can understand where people are coming from with this.
You love this. Now the reason ESPN had them so high is they rank Kawhi Leonard 12th best basketball player in their NBA top 100. Paul George they put at 15.
When healthy.
You're buying. I know you're buying this.
I don't hate it. I
am taking this and I am rolling it up. I'm shooting a foul shot. Maybe I'm Shaq. Maybe I'm not. But I don't understand.
Are you Shaq or you Steph?
I think I'm Steph in this situation.
Okay.
But Paul George has not been the model of health. I know he missed the COVID for the playoff game. Missed the play-in game. They lose.
That's tough.
Kawhi Leonard out for a whole season.
That sounds like he's ready to play ball.
I mean, John Wall. Are we buying John Wall as their point guard?
John Wall's not even starting point guard. John Wall's coming off the bench.
I know he's coming off the bench, but a big thing is that now all of a sudden they have John Wall. They have Paul George. I
don't love John Wall, but I will tell you what I do love.
I mean, they have Norman Powell. They got Terrence Mann.
Luke Kennard is a backup small forward.
Right, Luke Kennard's a very good player.
Norman Powell's backup point guard.
Yep.
Nick Batum, backup power forward. I don't love Marcus Morris.
I hate Nick Batum. I think he's horrible. He did my Hornets dirty. If you want to buy him, you can.
I don't like Batum either.
He played a lot better for the Clippers.
He's so consistent.
He played a lot better for
consistency.
And he played a lot better for the Clippers than he did for the Hornets.
Robert Covington coming off the bench, and guess what we haven't even talked about? Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann's a good player.
Terrence Mann almost won 6th man a couple years ago. Did he not?
I just think that there's 3
You
big
look at their
pieces.
starting 5 and you don't love it. I don't particularly love it. But then you look at that bench and you go, oh, they have a formidable squad coming off the bench.
But do you love it with the idea that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and John Wall are going to be healthy? I mean, all of a sudden I feel like they go from 8-9 deep to 4-5 deep real quick. That's my concern with the Clippers, and to put them ahead of the Celtics, to put them ahead of the 76ers, they're ahead of the 76ers, they're ahead of the Suns, they're ahead of the Suns, they're ahead of the Bucks, ahead of the Nuggets, which I know you love the Nuggets. Brooklyn Nets, they're ahead of the Nets. I think the Nets.
I think a lot of people should be ahead of the Nets right now.
I think the Nets are such a mystery team. Durant didn't want to be there. Said, "Hey, I'm trading you.
Now he's all in.
Now he's like, wait a second. We're cool. We're gonna win a championship." Ben Simmons, weird dude. We'll see. I think he has the mental fortitude of a potato. I don't know. Is that offensive? I don't know. Maybe it is.
Adam, you're gonna get canceled. All right.
I mean, I don't know if
you're getting canceled.
Can you call someone? Is that canceled? I don't think it is. We'll see. Well, I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see if somebody downloads this and starts to cancel Adam Stone.
In a lot of trouble because I call quite a few.
Right. I mean, they're ahead of the Heat. They're ahead of the Timberwolves. They're ahead of the Grizzlies. I love the Timberwolves team. I don't know. I just don't know if I could put them. I don't even know if I'd put them in my top 10. And they're top 5, top 2, top 3 in a lot of these power rankings. I just think there's so many question marks going into this season with them. Yes, the Celtics have their coaching issues. Yes, you have James Harden has a coaching, he's not a coaching issue. He's just an issue himself, James Harden.
And he's making $48 or whatever, $42 million this year.
The Suns, I feel like everything outside of basketball has caused problems between their owner DeAndre Ayton signs the offer sheet. They were talking about him getting traded. He ends up back with the Suns.
Which is huge. They wouldn't be where they are without him.
Like, I don't know, like, why are people writing the Bucks off? I mean, they didn't win it last year, but 2 years ago they did win.
I don't know. I love Giannis. Obviously, Giannis is great. I'm not a big fan of Middleton.
I know you've talked about that before. You're not a fan of Middleton.
I don't get it. Like, where is it? Where do you... He's good defensively. That's because he's big, but if you... I don't know. Like,
and another team that I want to bring up real quick, a good friend of ours, it's one of his teams, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves looked real good last year. They were really young, and then all of a sudden...
Then Ja came to town.
All of a sudden... Well, yeah, right. But I want to take a step...
That kid is my favorite to watch in basketball, but continue.
If the Grizzlies are healthy, they're going to be a fun team to watch. I can't wait to see what they do. There's so many good young basketball players. Yes. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, they had a really good, really young, really exciting. Karl Anthony Towns is a problem at center. Now, all of a sudden, you go all in. 4 first-round draft picks for Rudy Gobert. 4 for did he turn? Wait, can I get closer? 4 first-round draft picks for Rudy Gobert, a 30-year-old center.
Is he Shaq?
So I feel like you have just totally changed the makeup of the team. You went from Anthony Towns stretching. He was shooting almost 40% from three-pointers.
Yeah, that was unreal.
So now you're shifting him to the 4. You have Gobert at center.
I don't hate that they shift him to the 4.
I think that's their best option. I just feel like
but when the league is getting smaller, you're getting bigger.
And
that sounds like an issue to me.
I feel like in sports in general, we had a quick sidebar that maybe we'll get to at the end of this. You're all of a sudden you're going against the grain. You're saying, hey, we think if we're going to change the rules, we're going to stick Gobert and Anthony Towns on there, and you guys aren't going to score on the inside. But what happens when teams start playing small ball and you pull Gobert away? Do you fall in the same trap Jazz fell into, where all of a sudden the lane is clogged? You don't have room for Anthony Edwards driving in the middle. Like, I thought that was a very bold move.
What offensive presence does Gobert give you outside of 4 feet from the basket?
He doesn't. I think that's obviously. I think the Jazz did great getting 4 first-round picks.
Yeah,
they got a whole bunch of role players that I think they could do with.
Did Mitchell get traded too, or am I drunk? Like
Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I wish I knew more about basketball.
So Donovan Mitchell was. I think they tried to trade him. I don't know if they ended up dead. This is terrible for the podcast.
God. But he's a Cleveland Cavalier.
Oh, that's right. He did. He did go to the Cavaliers. Again, I didn't love that move when it happened.
If the Jazz are going to trade Gobert, they'll get rid of him.
Like, you can get rid of him, but I just...
Yeah, you had to at that point. Oh, but they got good return for him. Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen.
Which I really like.
I love those. I love those two
players.
3 unprotected first-round picks.
But Cleveland, I thought, was onto something. And now all of a sudden you stick Donovan Mitchell next to Darius Garland. Evan Mobley.
I kind of love that dude. I kind of love that.
I like Mobley, and I like Jared Allen at center, big man.
Jared Allen. I'm so mad that the Nets ever traded him.
I just kind of feel like in the history of basketball that we have seen, it's very hard to stick star players that play basically the same position together. It never works out. I thought
Kyrie and James Harden.
I thought they were going up. I thought Cleveland was going up. They trade for Mitchell. I don't know if I love that.
But think about this though. They gave up arguably less for Mitchell than the Wolves did for Rudy Gobert.
Out of their minds. But I forgot when that trade happened. I remember.
I thought he was a Cavalier. I wish I knew more basketball right now.
But it's just the Garland and Mitchell. Are they?
I love
similar
Garland.
I love Garland.
They are very similar players.
I just think you all of a sudden, just like anything else, you add another mouth to feed. I don't know. Where are we putting the Lakers this year? Everybody talks about the Lakers.
Goodbye.
Everybody talks about LeBron. I just don't love their team.
There's no camaraderie. I love Russell Westbrook. There's no camaraderie on that team. I feel like people are ousting him just because of the season he had last year. When if you look at the last month of the season, Russ was starting to play like Russ.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Right.
And I feel like he has been absolutely outcasted on that team.
And they turned him into, and I see they're changing up their whole style of play. Now it's whoever gets the ball goes with it.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works. I'm not buying it.
This must be a LeBron coaching strategy.
I don't love it. I don't love the Lakers. How are we doing for time?
59.5.
59.5. So I guess we'll have to call it there. Until next time, I am the Adam Stone.
I am J_Brunette15.
We'll see you guys next week.
Oh, he didn't.
He didn't give us anything.